The party
Guy
was lame to me.
Fieri.
Fieri.
This is the fun.
Yeah.
So they're trying to track him down. Mora's at the party.
I just want to say, you are never allowed to pick the freaking theme for anything again. Okay. Albuquerque, fire truck. We're just yelling out words now? What's going on here? Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of BS Drunk Movie Reviews. This is a weekly podcast, and we do upload the video version of this to our YouTube channel, so be sure to check us out there. My name is Matt, and as always, I'm being joined by my co-host and sister, Vetta.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, you. How you doing?
Good.
That's nice. Anyways, so on this episode, we have a special guest, and it is Matt from Andom Racks of Animation. How you doing, Matt?
Hi. I'm doing well. How's everything going for you, man?
Oh, pretty good. We are both Matts with one T in our name. So, hey there, doppelganger. So
Yeah.
on this
I always make
episode,
the joke that I'm like a yoga mat.
right on. I have a funny joke about that. I'll have to tell you about it later. But on this episode, we are going to be reviewing the movie Vivarium, which Matt, you have chosen, which I want to discuss that. But before we get started, we are going to ask the most important question of the night, and that is, what are you drinking? And Matt, since you're our guest, we'll start with you.
All right. So what I am currently drinking is a Red Noir.
Nice.
So I don't normally drink, so this is a new one for me. So
Nice. And are
cheers.
you liking it?
Yeah, it's not bad actually.
Yeah.
Like I've done some red wine pairings with meals, but never just on its own. So this is
Right on.
not bad.
Yeah, I'm a wine snob, so
Yeah,
Uh,
when Matt goes to the
Oh,
liquor
are
store
you
and
really?
doesn't buy wine, the
he
guy's sales go down. Like
Yeah, the guy
notices
asks.
and
Oh,
will say to
wow.
Matt and be like, "So no wine
No
today."
wine tonight. I'm like, not today, okay? You mind your own business. So,
He's
okay.
like, "That's gonna
Not
affect my
that bad.
bottom line."
Yeah, right on. He's like, you are my business, white boy. Anyways, Betta, what are you drinking?
I am drinking a Monaco peach hard
Oh,
lemonade.
so good.
So good. But I was gonna make this thing called Vivarium, but it was like building a fucking
Was it
diorama.
was it the flower
Yeah, it
simple
had like
syrup?
flowers and mint
Yeah,
and
I saw the same thing.
thyme, and it was like
Ah,
I was like, this is a science project. I'm not into
Yeah,
this.
I was like, fuck that noise. I'm not gonna, it's not midsummer right now, okay? I don't need to,
yeah,
I'm not
nah.
Harry Potter making my alcoholic beverages, okay? But I am drinking what is called a verdant vodka vivarium and everything. If you can't, if you're listening on the podcast, you can't see. There's chunks of cucumber in here. I'll tell you a story. Okay, so
Oh,
this
it
is
looks like a giant piece of
Oh, that's
lime, like that you
refreshing.
cut
oh
perfectly to fit your
yeah,
glass. And I was like, ew.
well, I should have done that with the cucumber. Okay, so this is what it is. It's vodka, vermouth, dry vermouth, lime juice, cucumber juice, which that's the part where I didn't have any cucumber juice, but I had cucumbers, and I was like, I don't want to get out the juicer, so I just did that thing where you push down on it and it like chops it into a million pieces and everything.
Oh, like
And I was trying
a
to
slap
squeeze.
chop.
Yeah, I was trying to squeeze the juice out of the little chunks, but then I was like, oh fuck it. So I just threw the chunks in there and everything. It's
So now it's
fine.
like boba tea, only
That's
with
exactly what it's
cups.
like. I hate boba tea. I don't like things like physical things in my liquid. So it's very that's why I have a straw because they're all floating to the top and I'm like, "Yay." Okay, and then it's also
Yeah.
it asks for and then it's got club soda, but it asks for celery bitters. I was like, "Fuck that noise. I hate bitters all the way around." So I'm not doing that. Okay, so that is what I'm drinking. Now, let's get talking about this movie Vivarium. Hoping to find a perfect place to live, a couple travel to a suburban neighborhood in which all the houses look identical. But when they try to leave the labyrinth like development, each road mysteriously takes them back to where they started, which is number 9. Okay, so Matt, I wanted to ask you right off the bat because I needed to know why did you pick this movie? Thank you, by the way.
Oh, you're very welcome. To be honest, I was talking to my dad about you giving me the option of picking a movie, and I was like, yeah, there's so many good ones I was throwing out there, you know. And he was like, why not do Vivarium? Because we both really enjoyed that movie. because we're both pretty into the Twilight Zone, and that whole movie just feels like it. So
I mean, now
it
that you
was mainly my dad's suggestion.
gotcha. Well, now that you say like the Twilight, because I love the Twilight Zone too. Now that you say that, I do agree.
It
But
gives a
Vetta,
ton of like old movie feels. Like I kind of get like with the kid, it's like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, but a
a
Right.
little bit of
little
Edward Scissorhands in there and
yeah.
everything. Yeah, I totally got that too. I hear what you're
Oh,
saying. But here's okay. I just want to say, now that you say the Twilight Zone, I might have changed my opinion on this. But I fuck before we came on this, before you said that, I fucking hated this movie. The whole time I'm just like, what is going on here? I kept saying that, and
yeah,
I'm writing it down in my notes. I'm like,
yeah.
what is happening right here? Okay. So let's start off. Okay, so we have our two main characters, Gemma and Tom. Lovely, and everything. Gemma is a teacher, which I did write down. I did write down. I don't think she's that great of a teacher because she's all like doing the tree thing with her kids, and I'm like, oh fuck that noise. What is this going on here?
Maybe that's
And
what
then
she's doing instead of like stretching or something. I
oh,
don't
I did
know.
write down, the opening, how it has those birds and it shows the cuckoo and everything. I wrote down birds are
Yes.
gross. And I was like, that one just killed those birds. I was like, what an
It's called
asshole.
survival of the
But I
fittest.
thought
Right.
cuckoos just like they would nestle in with the other birds and the bird wouldn't
They
like
do. They
notice.
go into
No, they
another
kick them
bird's
out, man.
nest and they lay
Mm,
their eggs.
right on. I did
Hmm.
also yeah, okay. So we get Tom and Gemma and they both work at the school. Tom's like a little handyman. And
I
Gemma's the
think he's
teacher.
officially a gardener.
Whatever. Yeah. Anyways,
I guess a
so how do
janitor.
yeah, that's what I thought. How do you know he's the gardener? How do you know he's not like
Because
the
I
handyman?
literally think it said that.
Whatever. Anyways, I didn't write that down, so it doesn't matter. Anyways, so they're leaving
Sorry, Your
their
Majesty.
they yes, that's right. Yeah, bow out to me at my feet. That's where you belong. Okay, so they decide they're gonna go after school and they're gonna look for a place to live because they're looking for a home. And haven't we all been there before? So they go into this place that has just got all these models of the same freaking house. Now I don't know about you guys. When they walked in, I was like, this place looks weird. I would have turned around immediately. Um, how did you
Hmm.
guys feel about this whole interaction with the dude? Which, by the way, did they give him a name? Because I just wrote down the
Martin.
man, and I'm all
Martin.
like Martin. Okay, yeah, that's right. That was his name.
Yeah, that's
Um,
it, Martin. Yeah.
okay. What did you, Matt? What did you think about this first in the shop? This interaction between these three characters.
I mean, I've met stranger people in my life, but I mean that guy is pretty freaking strange in the first scene.
Vetta.
So it's yeah. Um, I'm trying to remember back to that scene.
Remember, they walk
I
in and
just remember.
he's
Yeah,
well.
and
They
I just
he.
remember it.
Sorry. Go ahead. Go
Go
ahead.
ahead, Matt. Go ahead. No, go ahead, Matt.
Oh, he's like Gemma and Tom. It's lovely to meet you and everything. He's like I want to
Yeah,
treat you, show you a place. Whatever the place. What was it called? Yonder. He's like someplace different.
yeah.
And he's like suburbia. And I was like, ew, sounds horrible. Although I live there. And then and he's like it wouldn't hurt to take a look and everything. So I was wondering like if you were Tom or Gemma, Matt, how would you feel when you walked into this place? But I'm going to have you answer the same question. How would you have felt when you were interacting with Martin and just like his
Oh,
mannerism and his facial expressions? Which I wrote down. What a weird looking dude. Okay, but what did you
right.
think about
Yeah.
that? Well, how would you have felt in that scene?
First off, like I'd be kind of like excited because it's like, hey, I'm with my girlfriend. We're getting a new house. We're trying to, so that's exciting in its own right. But as soon as I get that interaction from the dude, I'd be like, stranger danger, like something's up here.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, like I've met a lot of crazy people in my time as being a firefighter, so I've seen a vast array of people. And I think seeing that would just make me go, no, I'm cool. I'm cool.
Right on. But
Let's go home.
right on. But what about you? What did you think about this whole scene and
Well, at
how
first
would
I
your reaction?
thought, well, these people aren't really trying to sell houses because all their model homes against the wall look exactly the same. I was like,
Right?
they had little storyboards next to them, and I was like, so clearly they come in different floor plans, but and
I
then
doubt that very
I
highly.
do
Like,
right. But I was
Mm-mm.
like, then he said, let's go look at him. And I am the person that in every situation, I think everyone is, because, at any given time, there are 30 active serial killers in the United States that the government doesn't know about. So every situation I go into and I meet someone that gives me the heebie jeebies, I'm like, oh my God, he's thinking about murdering me. This is how I know.
Murder,
Right.
murder who?
So that is exactly what I thought the minute I seen this guy. I was like, oh my God, he's a murderer. This is ridiculous, which I'm not wrong, just, in a different way. But yeah, and when he said, let's go look at the houses, I don't know about you guys, but at least around where I live in America, when there's a new subdivision, they have the homes that have already been purchased being built, and then they have model homes. They don't have a complete
Mm-hmm.
subdivision already built, just waiting for people to move
Mm.
in. So that, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
if I would have been convinced to get in the car and go and look, if I would have been Tom and been like, I don't want to do this, but Gemma was all, let's go. The minute we drove up and I saw that there were 200 green houses looking identically the same, just waiting for people,
They were
I would have grabbed
green.
that steering wheel and been like, nope, this is wrong, wrong.
Right on. Yeah, I wrote down I would have bailed immediately. I was like, this dude is weird. And then I was like, why is he talking like that? I was like, I like that
He
would have
wasn't raised
immediate.
right.
Yeah, well, we know that well enough. But I would have just been like straight up, like I've been because like Gemma, which I blame Gemma for this whole thing.
Mhm.
I just want to say that all right off the bat because
100%.
I
I
agree.
don't know though. I blame them
Mm-hmm.
both
Mm-hmm.
when they get in
no,
this.
no. I have. We're gonna argue about that
We're
because
gonna
I want
talk
to.
about
Yeah, we're
that.
gonna talk
Yeah.
about that for sure. Okay, so first off, Tom was all like, "No thanks, buddy." He didn't say that outright, but I was just like, "Yeah, get the fuck out of there, Tom. Don't listen to let Gemma go with him. You can walk home and everything." Because she's all like, "It doesn't hurt to look," and I was like, "Yeah, but not with the weirdo." Especially when he's like, "You can follow me there." I'd be like, "No thanks. How about you tell me when the open house is,
Mm-hmm.
fucker?" But I'm all like, I'm just like, no. I was like, I don't think so. This is
How
this.
about you just show me pictures and we'll decide if we want to move on from
Exactly.
there.
I was just like, mm-mm. I was like, and then I would have been like, well, let me look at it through Zillow. Why don't you show me your, because like, I don't know about you guys, but when I was looking for a house, there's like four different websites I was looking at to check it all out. And I was like, my dude, it's already your story's not tracking. So, all right. So
I
they
tried Google Earth it,
Yeah,
Google Maps
exactly.
it.
So they're driving right, and they get into Yonder, which I just have to say right now, Yonder looks fucking terrible to me. I'd have been like, what's going on with these like brick walls? I was like, this isn't fucking London, my dude. What's going on here?
And they have
Um,
like turf instead of grass. Like
yeah,
they couldn't
yeah.
lay down some sod.
Mm-hmm.
What? Why? I mean, or rotate colored houses. Fine, they all have the same floor plan, but can't we throw a blue or
Yeah,
a gray
exactly.
in
Yeah,
there?
yeah.
Yeah, they're just all green, aren't they?
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the government is definitely lasering these houses. Okay, so they get to number nine, right, and everything, and right away they go in, and Martin is continuing his big bag of bullshit, which I'm just like, Martin, you are
He's not a
definitely,
good salesman.
yeah, he is freaking. I was like, Martin, you're freaking me
No.
out even more. Okay, so then I love how he pulls out the basket of champagne and strawberries. Now, I just want to tell you right now, if you offer me champagne and strawberries, I'm not going to say no. I was like, I have an addiction, sir. Thank you.
If this is your sales pitch, I'm
Yeah,
listening
exactly,
now.
exactly. I'd have just felt like,
You got me.
exactly. I would have put the champagne out and be like, good month. Let's pop this sucker open. And then he's like, you want a strawberry? I'm like, don't be weird, all right? Okay, strawberries are for nice times, okay? So
At least they're not chocolate dipped.
yeah, right on. I love how he goes. He goes, "This is the living room, a room for living." I'm like, "Way to narrow it down, fucker. Aren't you just like a big ball of obvious?" And okay.
Did you guys notice the photos in each room?
Of the house
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was like paintings of the house and I was like,
of number
"Man,
nine.
of
And then
number
in the
9."
bedroom, it was a
Yeah.
painting of the master
Mm-hmm.
bedroom.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of it empty too, which is trippy as fuck.
Yeah,
Like, why?
I just go
I totally want to do that now in my house for the next time Matt comes to visit and he walks into the guest bedroom and there's just a picture of
Dude,
the
if you do, I'm
bedroom.
just gonna be like, "Is that a
An
Bob
empty room?
Ross?"
Maybe.
Did you know he's a serial
Yeah,
killer?
did you know Bob Ross is a serial killer? Okay, so they're going through the
What?
house. Yeah, yeah, that's a
No more
conspiracy.
happy trees?
Yes, we'll talk about that later after all this. Okay. So they're going through the house, right? And as they're going through through the backyard, sorry. Martin totally fucking bails. I'm like, Martin did what you fucker should have done a half hour ago. He fucking got out of here.
Uh-huh.
But you guys
He's
are all
like, I'm
looking
not making this sale. Let me go back and catch somebody else.
exactly. So they get into their car, right? And they start driving to get out of yonder, which I'm all like, what a dumb fucking name. You guys should have known right off the bat. When the clouds look like they were glued onto the sky, you should have bailed, okay? But okay, so they're in yonder and they're driving around, right? And they can't find the exit and everything. I just want to say it's because you know they let a woman drive, and so
She
because
drives later. He can't get the fuck
oh
out
please,
either.
they
So
got
nice
lost.
try.
They got lost because of her. Women behind the wheel is just a big nightmare. Okay, worst decision ever.
Well, at least she
Okay,
has a car.
yeah, that's
How
true.
True.
unmasculine is
True.
he that
That's
she's
true. That's
driving
true.
everywhere?
That's
His
true. I
janitor job probably can't get a car.
exactly.
Right?
He can just he just has that ice pick or whatever. Anyway, so then he takes over and they run out of gas. All right, and they come back to number nine. They're circling number
Gas
nine.
in front of number 9.
Exactly. They come back to number nine, right? And they're just all like, it's number nine. And I'm all like, yeah, you guys should know that this is straight up like fucking narts and everything. So they go inside. And I don't know about you. That's when I was like, the champagne's looking fucking good now, isn't it, guys? And then they started drinking it, and I was like, yeah, yeah. And those start. Now, I have a question for you guys. Tom says the strawberries don't taste like anything. Does that mean that it was just the strawberries, or is every single food in here there's no taste?
Every single food, they say that at one point.
Oh, do they? See, I must have missed it
Yeah.
then.
You need
Yeah.
to start watching movies with the
Yeah.
subtitles on.
Oh, maybe I should, because I'll tell you right now, like sometimes I was just like, with this movie, I was just like, I have way better things to do. God damn, I'm so bored. Okay,
Oh.
and then my whole thing was, I was like, okay, if they can't taste this, do they at least get a buzz? Because I'm like, if there's no buzz, I was like, you guys, like
All right.
they
That's
should
a
have
good
tried the
question.
champagne when Martin was there, because then they could have tried it and been like, I don't taste anything, I'm out and everything. There's something weird with your produce, fucker. Okay, so then they get up on the roof and they're checking stuff out. He can't see, the sky yonder or whatever. And there's a box of food, which I just want to tell you right now, even though that food was like, that food looked fucking terrible. I would have just been like, let's just starve.
Vacuum sealed.
Yeah, let's just starve to death because this is fucking nuts and everything. Like they had shrimp in there. I was like, that shrimp is bad. I was like,
The
it's not.
lamb chops? I was
Yeah,
like, what
yeah,
the
yeah.
hell?
I was like, if this is not bad, there's definitely we're gonna get dysentery or something. I mean, like it's crazy.
Were there
Um,
feminine products in that box too?
if there, I
Because
don't
I know
Yes.
know.
that there were boxes of other things in there. I just
Yeah, it
was
had
wondering, like, was it?
toothpaste, toothbrushes, dental floss. It had
Oh,
everything
wow.
in
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
right. Wow.
super super fun. Okay, so they bring in the box, right? And Tom decides he's gonna light this fucker on fire. He's gonna burn it down. I'm like, yeah, let him fire and everything. So now, one thing that I felt like they made the mistake of was they fell asleep, and I was like,
Yep.
never fall asleep, fuckers. You guys do this every single time. You need to make a big like hello and everything. They fall asleep and everything, and when they wake up, the house is just fine and fucking dandy and everything, except they're
But
covered
they're
in
covered
ash.
in ash and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah. I'm like, man.
Yeah, that
And
was crazy.
yeah.
Yeah.
And inside the new box is a fucking baby. Now, this is when I went fucking bonkers. I don't know about you guys. I was like, this is fucking narts right now. There's a baby in a box.
And it was slimy.
Yeah, I was like, I don't see a lightning bolt scar. You're getting the fuck out of here. Yeah, it's covered in uterine gulab. And you're like, what's going on here right now? So now tell me what you guys are thinking about the movie up to this point. Matt, you go ahead.
Oh man, just from there, it was just like more questions where it's just like, well, first off, how the fuck do we get out of here? And how come everywhere we go, we're returning here? Is this kind of like some space-time continuum
Hmm.
bullshit? Like, what is this?
Hmm.
So if I saw that baby though, I think I'd just be like, oh fuck no. Like I'm done. Like
Right.
I'm done.
Yeah, Vetta, what
But
about? Oh, sorry,
was
sorry, Matt.
Oh, I was just gonna comment, like, wasn't there I don't know if you guys noticed, but on the sign going into yonder, it said your home, as
Forever.
in like, yeah, forever.
It does say
So
forever on it.
Super
it
fun.
does.
Yeah. And I was
Man,
like,
it's just like a
first I
lot of this.
didn't catch it, but then when I watched it a second time,
Yeah.
I caught it,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
I was like, oh, there was a sign before you even got in that literally told you, don't go in. This is
Yeah,
forever.
it says yonder, your home right now, quality family homes forever. Prospect
Mhm.
Properties. Well, fuck you, Prospect. I'm not dealing with you guys anymore. I do want to say one thing that I forgot to mention, right? I love when Tom, he's all like, let's follow the sun. He's like, but and then they just start climbing over fences. And I'm all like, you guys don't really
Mhm.
need to climb over all these fences. And then Tom, like the bitch, I don't know about you guys, but Tom was such a bitch in my opinion. Because then he's all like, oh, I'm tired. And Gemma's all like, you good? I'm like, yeah, Tom, get the fuck up. What are
Like,
you
I need
doing
a
right now?
break.
I'm like,
Because he's
you're
a smoker.
I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. He's a smoker. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
What a
Yeah.
dickhole.
Yeah, I kind of went
No,
when
I.
in that part where they were like, follow the sun, it gave me almost like a Truman Show feel.
Oh, that's a good point too. Yeah,
Mhm.
there's a lot of references you can make in
Yeah.
this one.
Yeah,
Matt,
I was like, because the clouds are painted, the sun was like moving, but it was moving, you know, way too
Wrong.
perfectly. Yeah, it just wasn't right. So I was like, but yeah, the minute we burned down the house came back, and then there was a baby, and it said, raise this baby and you will be released.
yeah, yeah.
Mm-mm.
I'm like,
Mhm.
the person, like twofold would have kicked in, the like maternal instinct and the get out of jail as fast as you can.
Plus,
but
go ahead.
but I was going to
Man.
say, but they don't ever they don't tell you that it's really only 2 years, that this kid will be full grown in 2 years.
Which I also just want to say, like the fact that they were like, you will be released. I was like, what the fuck does that mean? I was like, what do you mean released? Okay, I'm sorry, Martin. You're gonna have to explain yourself more
I
than just
really
these
do
words.
feel like Martin should have like been like, here's the fine print.
Do you wonder if Martin went back to his little office and popped open a bottle of tasteless champagne and was like, "Look, you guys made a sale." You know, uh,
Do you
I
think his
did
little
it.
computer screen he can
Yay.
just pop up and check in on everybody, be like, how's my new brother
Oh,
doing?
we need to. Well, which I want to.
Oh
Now that
man.
you mentioned that, I hold on. I'm gonna write it down because I want to just I want to talk about something. But okay, so. I don't know about you. Okay, so this is what I would have done if Jarrell had showed up on my doorstep. I would have totally put him back in that box, taken him back into number 9, and set that fucker on fire again. I would have been like, no, fuck this noise. I'm already freaked out. I'm like, we can't get out of here. You just drop a baby in my lap and be like, raise it up. No,
You don't know
thank
what kind
you.
of person I am.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, listen, I have 2 kids and I love them
Mhm.
very deeply, but that shit was normal. Okay, this is not normal.
And let's be honest, other people's kids are as annoying as fuck. You love
Yeah,
your kids.
Oh
exactly.
You
hell
That's
don't
yeah.
love
so
all
true.
Oh yeah.
That's so
kids.
true. That's so true.
You see other people's kids, at least I do, and my kids are grown, and I see other people's kids and I'm like, I wouldn't have had kids if that would have been mine. He would
Right
have
on.
been on his own. Mhm.
Right on.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was actually asking if this was a metaphor for how the writer feels about marriage and child raising.
That's good. I
You
like
know?
that. He wrote it. He's got a girlfriend and takes her to see it.
Yeah,
She's like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah,
fuck.
yeah.
Fuck, fuck this.
She's just doing the look my wife gives me when she's upset. She'll just be like,
Hmm.
yeah, okay. If you can't see it, go check out our video. Okay. So the next scene we get, this little boy walks into their bedroom and they're sleeping, and he's just standing there, and they wake up.
Creepy.
Yeah, creepy. And they flip him off. And I like how he flips him off back. I just want to tell a quick story. So in my household, right? Me and my kids, we kind of like we're fun and everything. I allow my children to flip me off, give me the bird at me, only
Oh
me.
wow.
They can't flip their mother off and they can't flip me off outside the home. If they do it, they lose the privilege, right? And so every now and then I'll just I'll just look at them and be like and everything. So it's pretty funny. Yeah. All right. Don't
So,
judge
fun
me.
story. If Matt was raising this kid, I am not joking. he would be so pissed off. This kid would only speak like, you know how he barks? They're like a dog and he
I
goes
want
ruff,
to
ruff,
talk.
ruff. Matt would just walk around calling
Yeah.
this kid a cunt. So that kid would
That's so
think
true.
cunt was a term of endearment. Because I'm not joking. I thought his daughter's first word, because when they would be in the car and I'd be on the phone with him, he'd be like, get out of the way, you fucking cunt. And I'd be like, you know, her first word's going to be cunt, and then your wife's going to murder you. And
God,
I'm
that'd
going to
be
have to be
so
on TV
good.
on
That
how
would be so
we should have
good.
seen the sign.
Yeah, yeah, that would have been great. Okay, anyway, so okay, now I have to tell a story, you asshole. Okay, so my one time, so in our house we don't say shut up, right? We say be quiet and everything. And then I'm like, I don't like it when people call people stupid and everything, or like and everything. So my wife calls me and she's like, "Hey, we need to talk." And I'm like, "What?" and everything. Because I was at work and she's like, today while my mother-in-law was watching our son, our kids, you know, for just a couple hours or whatever. He jumped off the toy box and landed on the floor, and my mother told him not to do that anymore. And he just looked at her and was like, "Why don't you shut up, idiot?" And she's like, "So if you could stop
Oh,
it, so if you could stop saying shut up and idiot." I was like, "I don't say shut up." And she's like, "You tell the dog to shut up all the time." I'm like, "That's a great point. I do tell the dog to shut up." And then I was
Oh
like,
my
"But
God,
I don't."
Henry's
But
a
I was
my
like,
hero
"Oh my
now.
God, I would pay, I'd suck a dick to get us that recorded. I want that so bad
I
and
would
everything."
love to see
Oh my
her
God.
face.
Yeah, because he was like 3 years old. And he just like, I just love, shouldn't you shut up, idiot, and everything. But then, and then I don't call people idiots, but I do whenever I watch like a YouTube video of people doing stupid shit and they get hurt. I'm like, you little idiot, and everything. So that's my story.
idiot.
What an idiot. Okay.
Oh my
So
God. I'm gonna
it's
high
the
five
weekend.
Henry next time I see him. He's not
He's
even
pretty
gonna
great.
know
Man,
why.
like
He is pretty great. He's the funnier one out of the
kids are
two.
sponges.
Yeah.
Kids
So
are sponges, and they like reflect back what you do.
right
That's
on.
what it seems like.
Right on. Yeah, yeah, yeah. One thing that also, okay, so then the little kid, which I just have to say, also, but if I had started to raise this child so I could be released, I would have given him a name because I'm like, they don't even give him a name, and I'm like, this is weird and everything. But I would have given him a dog name like Fido or something. So then he starts mimicking their conversations. He's all like, you know, I can't remember exactly what he says, but like he starts crying and everything as
Oh yeah, the
Gemma.
one time when he says, Gemma, we wouldn't even be in this situation if you would have picked one of the 90
Hmm.
houses
Yeah,
we
yeah.
looked at before
Yeah,
this.
one of the goddamn houses, we wouldn't be in this situation.
Which Tom's right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier, where kids like pick up and mimic what you do, and they dish it back to you.
right. Yeah,
So kind of
exactly.
like, oh, that plays right in there.
Yeah. So then he's all like, measure me and everything, and they measure him and everything, and it's like day 93 or something like that, and he's like, am I taller? And she's like, yeah, you're taller and everything. Meanwhile, they both are just doing the zombie walk and everything, and I'm just like, I feel so bad. And then he
But as a
starts,
parent, when your kid is young and growing, and if this kid's only 98 days, they literally, that was gross. I just want you to know that.
yeah, yeah, it wasn't pleasant in my mouth.
But
That's what she
do you not
said.
yeah, do you not remember when your kid was, you'd only had your kid for 98 days? You were walking around your house like a zombie. Like
Yeah,
they're
but
literally going through it.
they weren't mimicking me and flipping me off and shit. They were just all like, like, you know.
Yeah, but he's an alien,
And if I turned
so
on
he's
Moana,
going through
they'd
all
shut the
that.
fuck up and everything. So,
But I get why they're exhausted because they're not doing anything. They can't even fucking watch TV. And they're not really having to take care of this kid. They feed him. That's pretty
which,
much it.
yeah, which he starts screaming because he's
I'm like,
hungry.
use your words. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
I
Oh
say that
man.
to my children now, and they're adults. And I'm like, okay, use your big kid words when they're
Well,
being assholes.
it
You
makes
know,
me wonder when Martin's in the office and a couple comes in, he's just like, ah, and everything. Like, Martin, what's going on here?
if
Like,
he's hungry, does he just go,
yeah, buy a house and everything. So, okay, so they throw some cereal in a thing and they're eating their fucking, you know,
but he
gross
won't stop
eggs.
screaming until it has the right amount of milk.
Right? Yeah, which I'm all like,
It's
Martin.
Yeah,
so
that was
weird.
nuts.
Yeah, Martin Jr.
Mm-mm.
needs to shut the fuck up with your weird hair. Okay. So then
Yeah,
I
right when the kid screamed once, I'd be like, this kid's going outside. Sorry.
yeah,
You're
so
in a
then
timeout, kid.
yeah, which it makes
Exactly.
which I'll ask it later on, but I have questions about this whole situation. So then they're sitting in the on the lawn, right? And they're just all like, ugh. And then and Gemma's like, coffee, and I'm all like, why? What's the point of coffee? I mean, like, first off, I just don't. It still goes back to like, can the champagne get you buzzed? Can the coffee, is it a stimulant or
That's a good question.
is it just like liquid, tasteless liquid in a cup? Because I'm like, if that's then what's the point if you can't
Gonna
taste it?
say,
And
is
it
it
and
just water that looks
Habit.
like coffee?
I mean, I guess so. I like you said, habit's probably it. So he throws down. So he's smoking, which at first I thought it was pot, and I was like, you should totally offer it to that kid. But then
Might chill him out.
yeah, exactly. But like,
Or it could kill him. Remember the movie Faculty? It's
Ooh.
yeah,
the
yeah,
drugs that kill
yeah, the aliens.
Oh man, I haven't seen that movie in forever. That was a good
So,
one.
so he throws down the cigarette on the lawn, right? And it just burns a hole, which
Hmm.
I did. I don't know about you guys, but I liked the little like effect it did. Almost like it was
Yes,
like stop motion
it was
animation
stop
or
motion.
yeah,
Yeah,
like I loved it. I was like, "Oh, that's really cool how they did that and everything."
yeah,
And
I wrote that in my notes too.
great, great, great. Yeah, see, great minds think alike. That's why Vetta's on her own little boat
Hmm.
and everything.
Plus,
So,
I do stop motion.
yeah, right on. So, and then he starts feeling the ground. Now, I don't know about you guys. For some dumb reason, I thought that when he did this and he started digging into the ground, I thought it was gonna be like, you remember in Beetlejuice when they
Yes,
say,
that's what I
okay,
wrote.
okay,
Thank
It was
okay.
cardboard.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Great minds think
Yeah.
like me. And then there's you. Okay. So then like I thought it would just be they were stuck in like a model of a suburbia and everything. And then he starts
Yep.
digging.
That's what I thought too.
Okay, great, great. We're all on the same page. This is good. This is good. So he starts digging and it's all clumpy and shit. And I'm all like, what's going on here and everything. And I did like how Gemma was helping out. And then later on, she's like, you want some help? And he's like, no, fuck that noise. I was like, yeah, you don't want a woman around to help out. She's not gonna help and everything. But okay, so then they're digging, and then we flip over to them getting a little sexy time on, about chicka wow wow and everything. And the fucking kid is watching. I was like, this is weird. I was like, this is another one where I wrote down, this is fucking narts
And
right
when this
here.
is how you know he's not human, because a
Eh,
human child would have been running
Oh
into
my
their
God.
rooms, hiding under their
Yeah,
covers
would
with the
run
pillow
away.
over their head, going, no, 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 no,
Hmm.
no, no, no.
Right. Well, maybe, but
Why
this
is
is
Daddy hurting Mommy?
Right.
right. So, but I mean, like, I did like you can see like small little inklings of them trying to be like fun and get their humanity back, like when they're brushing their
Normal.
teeth, and
Or
she
when they're
like,
dancing from
yeah, and
when they
like,
realize the car's battery still works and they
Hmm.
play music.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's all these little things that I'm just like, man, it sucks because you guys like the whole time I was like, this is not going to end well. I just know it's not going to. I know. Daddy knows. Okay. So
Hmm.
then he's all like so then what's his face? He goes out to dig the hole some more. And then what's her face does the laundry and everything. And then the little kid starts watching TV, which it's the worst Saturday morning cartoons you've ever seen in my entire life. Like it looks like
Snow
a
would be better.
yeah,
It
it
was
just looks like
trippy. It was trippy.
dude, yes, which I want to talk. But speaking of, I wrote down so later on in the movie, it gets real fucking trippy. Like I was just all like,
Hmm.
I have not done enough edibles for this shit, and so,
I need some
so
mushrooms.
exactly, like it was crazy. So then they, like you said, they get in the car, right, and they turn on the lights, and they're just dancing, having a good time. Which I was like, see, this is nice and everything, and it made me go to the whole point of like, when because I don't know what you guys think of like who these things are, what they are, and everything. But I was just like, it's so mean because they're just putting these people in this little like bubble, and they're just like killing them. And I'm like, but look, they're so happy right now. I'm like, don't you guys like see that and just go like whatever they are and just go like maybe we should let them go, you know? I mean, even a scientist feels bad for a rat every now and then.
Yeah, and we can talk about it more at the end. The way this ends, like, I don't understand.
Hmm.
Like, I understand it, excuse me, but I also don't understand it
Great,
at the
you're
same
gonna
time.
explain then, because I don't get fucking anything.
Oh, okay.
Right.
We'll talk about it at the end. We're not there yet.
Right. And then
I
I
got a
love
lot of theories on it.
good.
Yeah.
You tell me your theories because I don't. I only have like one theory, and I was like, oh, this is lame. Okay, but then the little boy jumps in, and I'm all like, ugh, way to ruin a good time by adding a kid fucking in there. It's like when you go to a party and there's like children, like the party thrower has their kids for that weekend, and you're like, Ugh, I can't drink
Uh,
right now. I was like, this is ruining my mood. And Tom falls or whatnot. And so she takes the little boy to bed and everything. And he's like, "Good night, mommy." And she's like, "I'm not your mommy," and everything. And then he starts screaming, right? And she's all like, "What do you want?" I'm like, "Yeah, what do you want now? What's going on here? This kid just screams." I'm all like, I would have made him a bowl of cereal. I don't know about you. I just like, fine. I would have ran down to the kitchen and got a bowl of cereal and be like, "Here, eat this," and everything. Um, and then I love
is that the
how
scene with the TV
no, that's
where
No, she's putting him to bed
she's putting him to bed and everything.
Oh, that's
Yeah, yeah,
right.
yeah,
after
Okay.
Tom throws him down on the ground out
Yeah,
in the middle
yeah,
of the
yeah.
street. Yeah.
yeah. And I just
That was a big part too.
yeah, and I go back to like if they would have raised him differently, like if they actually would have raised him like he was their child, not like he was just a thing. I wonder if he would have turned out differently. Like I'm always like if you would have gave him a name and been like call me mom and everything, like and like woke up every day and just be like, hey, Martin Jr., let's go get some breakfast and like got
Well,
him
and he's
breakfast and
clearly better than the original Martin. Because the
you
original Martin, I
think?
think, was a defective of some
I think
type
they're all
somehow.
defects. They're all fucking
Well, of
weirdos.
course, but I
Mhm.
think this little boy is doing better. I mean, Martin's face when he would talk to people and he was like, hello, hello. When you were like, what is happening with him? Like he
Right
was
on.
over doing it.
Right on. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we keep going back to Tom digging the hole. He's like listening. He's like hearing some kind of noise. I didn't know what that was.
And he's
And
very sick.
yeah, he's very sick because he's smoking everything and the kids watching TV or whatnot, and they go to they're telling him to shut it off or whatnot, and he doesn't want to listen to everything. And so um, at some point in time, Tom loses his shit. He's done with this bullshit. He's like, I've had enough, right? And he throws that little monster in their car and locks him in there. And he's like, do not let him out and everything. And Gemma, like the little idiot she is, she's all like, well, what if he dies? I'm like, let the fucker die. I was like, that is not a child. I'm like, you can tell he's not a child. And if he is, he's like a Silence of the Lambs kind of child. Not worth it. And so she eventually lets him out. Now, what did you guys think
Think
about this
more of
whole
the village
plan?
of the
The
damned
good,
or
yeah, good one. Children of the Corn, whatever you want to say.
yeah.
He is the devil. Okay. What did you guys think about Tom's throwing him in the car plan? What did you think, Matt?
I totally agreed with it, to be honest with you, because like he said in that part, like they'll come for it if it's gonna die,
Yes, he
So
did
it's
say that.
like that'll lead to something even better. It
Yeah,
might get them out of there. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I would have been on Tom's side for sure.
absolutely. Because
yeah,
That
what's
would,
the worst case
yeah,
scenario? They were going to come and let him out. They're not going to let him die. He's the whole purpose this is happening.
yeah.
Oh, but how much would
hmm
that suck if he did die and a new baby just arrived in a box?
Then you just burn the house down in the
you
with
just
the big.
ignore it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Um,
Yeah,
then
just
you're
keep
there
ignoring it.
forever.
Yeah, but of course Gemma, because she's great at thinking women, am I right?
She's a
And
kindergarten teacher.
it doesn't
They're a
matter,
special
okay?
breed. No,
She's
they're a special
this
breed.
whole movie is her fault.
Oh,
She went to
100%.
go see the house. She kept the kid alive. This is all her fault. All her
Yeah,
fault.
she took the kid out of
Well,
the box.
well, that's like how females are though. They're the nurturer, you know.
Unlogical,
So of
yes.
course she's
So
gonna see. Well, I mean, you see a little kid, of course a mom's gonna be like, I want a baby, baby fever, you
Well, and
know.
they don't teach
So
kids nowadays. It's not when you lose your mom or you get lost, it's not find a police officer. They teach kids now to find another mother with children to ask for help.
mm, right on.
okay,
Yeah. So
I
she
mean,
lets
more
him out.
nurturing.
Yeah, yeah. Fuck that noise. That is not a child. That's a demon. I
Yeah.
seriously
In
would have
this
been
case,
like,
yeah.
yeah, I was seriously been like, not today, Satan, not today. Okay. So then Gemma, she's trying to connect, excuse me, with this creature. And she's like, what does that cloud look like to you? And he's like, it looks like a cloud. And I'm like, Want to narrow down, fucker. I mean, but for me personally, I thought the clouds, it looked like cotton balls that had been like stripped a little bit and then just
Yep,
glued onto the sky. Like the whole time I'm just like, that doesn't look like a cloud. That looks like somebody that thinks they know what a cloud looks like, but it doesn't look like a cloud to me
exactly.
and everything. So, and that's why I thought like maybe they're stuck in a little, model kit or whatnot.
Yeah.
And then this whole time I was talking I was like I felt like she was trying to connect to this kid. And I was like, okay, maybe this is where the turnabout in this movie is going to be. The third act is going to be like the child recognizes that this is a woman trying to connect with him, and this is his mother, even though it's not his mother, and he's going to help her get out of this problem. And I was like, I was sorely wrong because fuck that noise. This kid
Hmm.
was all like, getting throat bubbles and shit. I did laugh out
What did you
loud.
think of that?
Oh, well, we're going to talk about that. I just want to
Throat
say one.
croaking.
I laughed out loud. I don't know about you guys when when she started howling at the fucking sky like a fucking asshole. I'm like, what are you doing, Gemma?
Yeah.
What's going on here?
And
Go
that
back.
little door is gonna
Yeah, yeah,
open.
exactly.
You're
Go
gonna be
back.
like, "Welcome,
This
Charlie. The
was my
factory is yours."
Exactly,
all
exactly.
right. This was my fourth time watching it, and this time watching it, I made the joke while she was barking, where it was like, "Oh, look at the desperation in her eyes," and there kind of is when you like rewatch it again. Like
Right
she
on.
actually did a decent job at it, but it was a laughable part for sure. But
Right
on the
on.
fourth go for me, it was kind of like, okay,
Yeah.
a little deeper.
Yeah. So then, okay, so then Tom, of course, this whole time is still digging away at his hole, which I just want to say, this is totally like a dude. You go to the beach, us guys, we'll dig a hole, and the next thing you know, you've got a river going through the beach and everything. It's super fun. Anyways, so then she finds the little boy and he's got a book, right? He found a book and everything. I was like, oh, I wonder if it's like, it's probably something stupid like Jane Austen or some bullshit like that. But so she pops this motherfucker open and I was wrong. It's more like the Zodiac Killer wrote this book because I was like, I do not understand anything in this book at all. And so then she's going through it, right? And she asks him if he met somebody and he's like yes, and she's like who was, and he's like I can't tell you. And this is the part where she's like I want you to pretend to be a dog, and he pretends to be a dog, and then she's like pretend to be Tom, pretend to be me, and then she goes pretend to be the person that you met today. And his like eyes roll in the back of his fucking head. I was like, what's going on here and everything. And then he gets these throat bubbles, and I was just all like, yeah, exactly. It was violent, and he was like, "Ah, ah, ah," and everything. I was like, you need to
Remind me of
find
a
the.
frog.
I would have found the sharpest object at that point in time and been like, it's time to die, bitch, because yeah, you are sainted for sure. I cannot handle this bullshit.
It looked like he was a frog, like
Yeah,
an amphibian.
Hmm.
and that's another thing. I was all like, you know what? I would have settled for this is frog people just taking or trying to take over the world. Nope, they don't explain that bullshit either and everything. So,
Did you notice in the book that he was showing her, there was like diagrams of like a normal person where it's like a man and a
mhm,
woman, and then above it was like a person with those throat bubbles.
Yep.
I did
So, and
not.
then it showed, yeah, it's kind of detailed. Like if you look at that book, it kind of explains more of the story as well. So it's almost as if like they mimic people, and these people have to raise this thing,
Yep.
Yeah.
and it's just all pictogrammed right in that book. It's crazy.
Yeah. I just, yeah, this whole, oh, this movie drives me mental. Okay. So then, so then the next day, I love how we get the shot of the next day before we see that he's a full-blown dog. I love how the roof of the house has changed to not, it doesn't say help anymore, it just says fuck you. And I was just like, that's good. That's what I would have
Hmm.
done too. Yeah. Except I would have done every single house. I'd have been like, 10, you're going to be something new. He's like, I just would have
Right.
went through
I'm
the
gonna
whole.
take a day off from digging my
Yeah,
hole
exactly. And I would have just
and
done the whole
paint the
neighborhood.
roofs. Yep.
I was like, this is gonna be my book. Just, you can only see it from the sky, fuckers. Okay, so then we get adult boy or whatever his name is, Martin Jr. And I did like how she's like, she goes, "You're welcome," after he says thanks, and he's all like, "Do you mean that?" And she was all like, "Yeah," and he's like, "Is that sarcasm?" And she's all like, "Yeah, I'm being sarcastic or whatever." And he's like, "Why?" And then he's like, "Is it because you're afraid?" And she's like, probably. And I was like, huh.
Mhm.
I'd be afraid too with your fucking throat bubbles. Those things were gross. When you have two goiters coming out of your fucking neck, I immediately get freaked out. So I was like, me and you, buddy, are not friends.
That's
Which
like, what kind of gender reveal is
yeah, well, my
this?
whole thing was like, I'm like, Tom, what the fuck are you doing, Tom? You're letting Gemma handle this situation. We've already established that Gemma cannot make good decisions. And your
Right?
decision is to go fucking dig a hole to where? Fucking Neverland? Get the fuck out of here. Take charge, motherfucker. And I'm like, ugh, okay,
He is
sorry.
not,
Went on
for
tangent there.
being a janitor slash gardener, whatever, he is not a very masculine man.
No, he's not. I mean, I'm not very masculine,
No,
but I'm telling you
I
right now,
agree.
I wouldn't have let this shit happen. I'll tell you that right now. So then
My
she,
husband would have gotten us out of there somehow. I'm serious. You could drop that man in the middle of nowhere and he'd be home in 24 hours.
yeah, for sure, for sure. And so every day, the adult, the Martin Jr., he leaves the house. And Gemma follows him. But Martin is like a fucking Houdini trick because he turns a corner and he's fucking poof, gone and everything.
But
And
his
Gemma's all like,
footsteps, you're
well,
still
yeah,
here.
yeah, exactly. But Gemma's all like, where'd he go? And I'm like, Gemma, why weren't you on his fucking ass? Okay. I'm like, well, you were like a mile behind, bitch. Like
My
he
favorite part of that was when he turned to her and goes, "We're gonna play this game again."
yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, Gemma's like Gemma, be a little sarcastic, be like, yeah, let's play this game, fucker, Jenga, and everything. So, and I love how she like goes and he like passes behind her, and I'm like, ooh, Yahtzee. And so like I'm just like the whole time I'm just like, Gemma, you are like the worst at this shit. Like you're just the
Yeah, she's
worst.
terrible at any childhood game. Tag, hide and seek, King of the Hill. She would lose them all.
Okay. So
Hmm.
after this whole situation, I wanted to ask you guys about this because I wrote something down, okay? So after this whole situation, Gemma goes home and or whatnot, and Tom is digging, okay? And he's digging and he's digging and he finds something, right? And he digs out of it and he gets this look on his face and then he climbs out of the hole, right? My question to you is, what do you think he saw? What do you think he found? Or did he not find anything and I'm just making that
He
up?
found a body bag.
Okay, that's what I thought. He
Yeah, it
found
was
the
a
body
body in a
bag.
body bag.
Okay,
Yeah, he just
so
found
Hmm.
the people before him. That
okay,
would have been
so
number 9.
yeah, and so that right as soon as that happened, I was just like, "See, Tom, now you need to take charge, fucker." I'm like, "You need to do like Gemma's gonna do, go and grab those tools and be like, hey, Martin Jr., time to have a proper chat, fucker, and everything." But he doesn't. He just dies. Excuse me. Um. So then after this happened, and I love how Martin gets out, or not Martin, Tom gets out of the hole, and Gemma's all like off in the distance, and he's like, Gemma, and she's like, Tom, and I'm like, what's happening here? This
And
is
it's
so,
foggy. We've never seen any
yeah,
weather
right,
at
exactly.
all.
Yeah,
And
there's
now
no
all of a
rain,
sudden it's
and that's
foggy. Like, I'm like, all right, is this the fog? Is like a whole little slew of these alien boys gonna come out of the mist here? What's
yeah. I'm
happening?
gonna be honest. That would have been way more interesting than what was happening. I'm not gonna lie. I was just I wanted something. I wanted so much more from this movie that I was like, who do I gotta jerk off to get something else to
Watching it going every
happen?
time we see something. Ooh, here comes the plot twist.
Yeah,
Here
like
it comes.
I was literally waiting for it, and it was just like I was just like, oh, okay. Like the biggest part right here is just they locked him out of their number 9 house, and I was like, oh no, what are they gonna do? They gotta sleep in the car. Like we haven't done that before. So I'm just like, and I love how he's just like watching his shitty TV, and she's like, open this door. I'm like, bitch, break the window. What are you doing right now? Like, what's going on?
You
You know
have a
they're
pickaxe. Sorry, I've been drinking. Words are hard. You have
yeah,
a pickaxe and a shovel and what
and
looked like a crowbar and
and some
other
dirt
tools.
rocks and some dirt rocks.
Bust that
Yeah,
shit.
exactly. You know they're just gonna rebuild it in the morning. Just go take a nap. They'll fix it. You're good to
There's a
go.
giant ass
Yeah,
sliding
man.
glass door in the back with an umbrella in a table. You have so many weapons. Just
Yeah. It's
get
like it's
get them
like
Yeah.
out.
it's like when the little kid was watching TV and they're like, turn the TV off, and he wouldn't do it. I'm like, break the TV. He'll get a new one. He'll get a 9 inch next week. Okay, just break it. Okay, it'll be
I
fine.
really feel like this is like, what do they call those? Those rage rooms, like
No,
where
right
you
on.
can
Yeah,
go
those
and
I've
just
been to those.
Yes.
destroy shit.
I
Those
was
are
just
This
fun.
thinking that.
house, that's what they should have treated it like. Like
Yeah.
every time they got pissed off when the kid disappeared or whatever, they should have just destroyed this fucking house. It was gonna reappear perfectly manicured the next day. So
Yeah.
just wreck shit.
I'd
Right
try
on.
and destroy all the other ones around me for sure.
For sure.
Go to each house, just break shit, break shit,
Well,
break shit.
and why did they never try to get in any of the other houses?
Dude,
Right?
listen.
That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah. You have Vetta, you have questions, they don't have answers, okay?
Right. I feel that
So
way about a
Yeah,
lot of movies. We've had this discussion that we could do better. We don't, but we
yeah,
could.
yeah, we could. Okay, so
I swear.
well, yeah, so Tom is laying on the sidewalk walk like a big hobo, and Martin Jr. comes out of the house and everything, and she's all like, Gemma's all like, he's really sick. You can help him, and he's like, maybe it's time for him to be released. I was like, see, this is why released is a bad word. I was like, that just means die and everything, and
Released of life.
yeah, which I just want to be all like, Martin Jr., where are you going every day? Which we find out later or at least I think where he's going in his little fucking sidewalk cubbyhole, which we'll talk about in a second.
Yeah.
No, I
But
think that's just his like
Mhm.
quote unquote escape room.
yeah, well, whatever it is, yeah, we'll talk about that in just one second. Okay, so he leaves and everything, and Gemma and Tom are just sitting on the sidewalk. He's smoking his last cigarette. They're talking about how they first met and everything, and I was like, this is really sad. Like they're just like, like they had to spend their last moments of their lives in this fucking like weird fucking like
Oh, this is the time you're gonna get mushy.
Terrarium.
yeah, exactly. Well, Betta, I'm always mushy fucker and
I
everything.
know you
And
like
this
the Notebook.
Yeah, The
Ugh.
Notebook is a great movie. You shut your fucking
Me
mouth. And
too. Me
yeah, see,
too.
yeah, see,
It's
this
Oh,
okay.
is
It's a math thing.
I will say this till I die.
I'm
Men
the
are
most
men.
masculine
No,
person in
men
this
are way
Zoom
more
room right
romantic than men.
now.
Men are 10 times more romantic than women. Notebook
It depends on the
written by a
woman.
man.
I can be romantic,
I'm
but
just
that is
saying.
bullshit of a movie.
I'm just saying. Notebook written
That
by a
is a
man.
toxic man. He
You-
is
You're
toxic
okay. We'll
masculinity.
we'll argue about this some other time. But
Another
I'm
day.
I'm right. Anyway,
Well, there's
so
a whole episode of us arguing
yeah,
about this
okay.
movie.
So then,
I can't wait to watch it.
Martin Jr. comes home and he's got a new box. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I thought he had food with him, and I was like, Martin, this is not the time for food. Although I have to say, if it was my mother, she would make food after somebody died. She'd be like, God takes us when he takes us. You hungry? Have some food. It's delicious. And everything. So okay, so it's actually a body bag, and she starts crying. She like I love how Martin Jr. made her put Tom in the body bag. I was like, Martin Jr., you are one hardcore harsh motherfucker. Like Jesus Christ. Like you didn't even help her out. You were just all like, here's your body bag, mother. Put your dead boyfriend in it, whore. And I'm like, this is so crazy. So, so then she zips him up, and Martin, like a total asshole, just throws him in that hole he was digging. I was like, that is whatever symbolism that is. It was just you're digging your own grave. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just
And
crazy.
clearly, they
Hmm.
do it with everybody,
Hmm.
whether it's them throwing a cigarette, something makes the grass disintegrate or whatever there because there are previous bodies there. So I
That's
think
a
they continuously make them dig
does,
their
ev-
own graves.
does every guy dig a hole? Because listen, I'll dig a hole.
Yeah, that's the
Absolutely.
weird part. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm
I
like,
didn't understand that either.
What is he, 12 years old
Because
and
it's
thinks
like,
he
what's
can dig
the
his way to China?
and yeah, hey,
hmm,
that would have been a
what's the
great.
likelihood of those people having tools?
Yeah, right. That's the thing. I'm like, does everybody have a spade in their back, their trunk and everything? Okay, so then she's sad, and so she sleeps in the car, right? All right. And she's like, I'm gonna get this motherfucker. It's time for your comeuppance, Martin Jr., you little fucking screechy
Could have
bitch.
let Tom kill you when you were a
Yeah,
baby,
yeah,
but I'm doing
exactly.
it now,
Exactly,
bitch.
Hmm.
exactly. And I love how Martin Jr. is just looking around like, where's Gemma and everything. Like what? Martin, you're about to fucking cubbyhole this shit and you don't know where this bitch is? Of course she's gonna be in her car. That's the only thing that doesn't belong, you weirdo. And so he's all like looking around, and I love how she opens the door, and I'm like, how did you not hear that in this fucking dead silence? And I'm like, whatever, it's fine. Because at this point in time, I'm like, I'm ready for anything to happen. Okay, at this point, if Beetlejuice popped up, I'd be like, thank God and everything. So okay, so she sneaks up and she's got the pickaxe right, and she hits, which I'm like. She hits him across the face, but I'm like, why didn't you bury that bitch in his back? What's going on here? Women make
Stick in
bad
the
decisions.
back.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, she's made bad decision
It's
after
a
bad
lot
decision.
heavier than she expected.
So you
He
gather
should
that
have
retard
practiced a
strength and
few
you hurt
swings.
him.
I feel
I'm-
like she didn't practice this. I would have practiced in the middle of the night. I'd be like, ooh, ooh.
Maybe, but then maybe the throat people would have seen it and everything and warned Martin
They
Jr.
didn't see her get it out of the trunk.
But I mean, maybe I don't fucking know. Anyways, so Martin Jr. he fucking Wolverine crawls it to a fucking sidewalk, and then he lifts that shit up. I was like, what kind of Hulk stuff is going on here right now? And I love how he lifts it up and he like crawls underneath. And now I will give Gemma some credit. She's all like, "No, you don't. Not today, Satan." She puts that fucking packet pickaxe in there and stops him from closing. Now, this is the part where I was like, I have not taken enough edibles for this nonsense. What did you
Yeah, this part
guys?
was crazy.
Yeah, okay. So I'll explain it and then I want to ask you guys about it. Okay. So then she sees him and he's going through this like weird, like weird, like Beetlejuice kind of like underworld kind of thing. And she slides into it and then she slides into a bunch of different worlds. The first one is it's all in red and there's a little Martin Jr. He's sitting at the TV, and then there's a woman at the table crying. Okay, and then she gets sucked into the floor like it's fucking sand, quicksand, and she falls into the green room. I called it the green room. And in the green room, there's a young couple just fucking away, and then a Martin Jr. just a clapping, which I was like, "What the hell's happening here? This is weird as shit."
Yeah, both the adults, the guy's staring head on, making eye contact with the little boy, and the woman looks over her
Oh,
shoulder,
that's gross.
and neither stop.
Yeah. Yeah, which I'm just like, what? I'm like, those two probably should not be parents ever. They're just weird. Then she gets pulled through the wall, which I was like, man, these aliens are just like, they're just, treating her like Tina Turner was with Ike and everything. And she drops into a shower in the purple room. And in the purple room, she finds a man, and he has obviously ended himself in the bathtub. And then
Do you think
she
the colors, I'm going to interrupt you. Do you
go
think the
ahead.
colors of the rooms are the color of the houses for those people?
I mean, that's a great question, but also an answer we don't have. Now, I want to go back to asking you guys what you guys thought about
Uh,
this whole scene where because I was just like, I'm tripping balls here and I haven't had any edibles right now. I don't know what's going on. Matt, what did you think about this weird scene? What did you think about this?
well, to go to the colors of the different rooms, I was thinking like, well, that's like a stylistic way to show like each individual's person in that house, what they've gone
Mm-hmm.
through, just to show the differentiation of it all. But when I first thought it was creepy as fuck, it's like how do you go under a sidewalk like that, you know?
Yeah.
And the more I was mulling it over, I was thinking this could either be like a different time where each color is like a different time in that room or number nine, or it could be like an alternate dimension kind of thing, like
Yep.
looking behind the curtain,
Mm-hmm.
seeing like the inner workings or their travel system to these dimensions. So it's confusing as fuck. Like I remember thinking like, what the fuck, and having so many questions,
Mm-hmm.
and just thinking this is all I got. It's either a different time or a different dimension.
Right on. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Vetta, what did you think about this?
I honestly thought like this is what their neighbors, like the other houses. These were glimpses into the other houses, what was going on in them. Maybe not like the ones directly
That's
next door,
cool.
but somewhere else in the labyrinth. Like because they're number nine. So I thought all along that number nine meant they're the ninth couple in this labyrinth.
That's a good.
Um,
See, that's way better than
That's
what
a
they
cool
did.
way to look at it.
so I kind of thought when she went underneath, she was viewing some of the other people and what was going on at that moment in their
I like
situation.
that.
Hmm. Right
Yeah,
on.
I like that a lot. And the reason
Okay.
why they can't, or why it's different colored, would be because she's out of her element in those
Yeah.
rooms. That
Or
makes a
I
lot of
also
sense.
at one point thought, and again, I just watched In and Out with like a niece and nephew. So I also was like, is it the color reflecting kind of like the emotions that were going through those people at the time? So
Oh,
I don't
Right
know.
on.
Good
well,
thing
Okay.
I
what
have
color
notes
was the
because
guy in the
I'm a
bathtub?
little too tipsy to be
He
this
was
thoughtful.
purple, which is
Hmm.
what was
He was
purple?
purple.
Yeah, what was
Oh,
purple in this?
purple blood loss, maybe.
Sure, yeah, maybe. Listen, you're making way more sense than this movie did. Okay,
I don't know. I'm like 2 glasses of wine in, so
Right?
I'm
right
I'm
I'm
on,
on
trying to
point.
right
Thank
on,
I'm
God I
trying to
have
piece it
notes.
together.
right on. So she
Yeah,
ends up,
for real. I'm looking at my notes like, yep.
yeah, right. So she ends up in,
I'm like, oh
and
shit, I gotta say that. That was a good thought. I'm too drunk to come up with a good
right on,
thought
right
right
on. That's
now.
so funny. That's so funny. So, what she ends up back in number 9. Now, I just want to say this whole time they fixed the house, but you know what they haven't fixed? The fucking yard because that hole is still there. And I'm like,
Because
this
he's
looks.
digging his own
I
grave.
mean, I guess so. Yeah. I mean, and I think she ends up in the grave also. Okay.
Yep. Yep. Martin throws her in there too, makes her climb in the body bag.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So okay.
Oh
So then
yes.
she. Yeah. 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 So she passes out or whatnot. And Martin, he's just going through the house. He's like fixing the furniture or
He's
some
setting it
bullshit
up
like
for the next couple.
yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, exactly. And then Gemma, he's sealing her up in a bag or whatnot. And she's like murmur, 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 and everything. And he's like, what did you say? And she's like, I said I'm not your mother because he said something like
I'm
goodbye
not your
mother.
fucking
Yeah, I'm not
mother.
your fucking mother and everything. I was like, yeah, she's not your mother. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, but at the same time, I wrote down, ooh, good one, Gemma. And
Yeah,
so,
burn.
yeah, burn and everything.
Sarcastic.
Yeah. What wit as you die. I'm all like, he's gonna get the last laugh though, asshole. And then Martin Jr. He like I love how he pulls her down the stairs. I was like, she made it up the stairs.
Oh
Why didn't we see
yeah.
that and everything? And then he pulls her to the
Head
hole.
thumping the whole time.
Yeah, and then he throws her in the hole, and then he starts putting the dirt back in the hole. I was like, Martin Jr., what's the point? Like there's no point to this. Like, come on, come on.
You can magically build a burnt house in a couple of hours. You can't refill the fucking hole by
Exactly,
the snap
exactly.
of your finger.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. And then I love
Yeah,
how
what kind
he
of sorcery is this?
exactly. Yeah. And then I love how he goes to the car and fills it up with gas with I'm like, did they have that gasoline tank all in the car the whole time? Fuckers, you could have used that, got in the car and ran this motherfucker over at any point in time, and you didn't.
Climbing
Nah,
over
Martin
all the
Jr. had it.
fences, just drove through them.
Yeah, exactly. I'm all like, what's going on? I was like, Gemma, you've made the most wrong decisions this entire movie. And Tom, you've made some bad ones too. But I'm all like, you guys, a small
You
piece of
shouldn't
me,
have talked to Gemma at
yeah,
that bar.
yeah, a small piece of me wonders if maybe you guys deserve this because you're obviously just retarded. Like you're just so stupid.
That's why
Um,
they were picked because the aliens went,
maybe.
they make bad
Oh,
choices.
and real quick, by retarded, I mean like, hey, you guys, just in case there was any confusion. Okay, so then I love how he gets in their car, and I just want to be all like, you don't have a driver's license. They didn't teach you ever how to drive.
Yeah,
How are
how do
you
you learn
driving? Yeah,
that?
yeah. How
The
did you
only
learn?
thing that would have made that better is if it would have showed the back of the car and it would have said prospective properties
Mhm.
already on
Oh
the
my God,
back
that would have
of
been
it.
great.
Like that was his new car.
That would have been good. That would have been good. Although they do have to pay him for
That's a good
advertisement
one.
if he did do that. So, okay, so then he drives and everything all the way back to the office where Martin Sr. is
Little
dying. Yeah, and
slump.
I was like, time has not been well to you, my friend.
See, that's the day you want to walk into that place because you see that
Right,
Martin, you're turning
right. It's
around
like
I was like, I don't
immediately.
know if I want to buy these homes.
right, yeah, exactly. Like he's like, hey, this yonder is great. I'd be like, no thanks. I was like, are you
I'm just so
okay?
tired.
Yonder's where people go
I'm
to
dying.
die. That's what it looks like. He's like, matter of fact, it is.
It is. And I love how he gives him his little Martin badge. I'm like, you guys can't even afford an extra badge. Martin just has
Or a
to hand
different
over his,
name.
yeah, or a different name and everything. I was like, come on. And then
Nope. Copy
he
and
put
paste.
exactly he puts him inside the bag. He gives him a tag, not those other fuckers. And then I love how he just rolls him up like he's a
And it
sleeping
says
bag.
rejected.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh,
And he just
So
rolls him
did
up.
he prematurely die? Was he supposed to live longer? Why is
That
he
these
rejected?
why are you asking me? Nobody knows the answers to your questions. Nobody knows. And I love how he just puts him in a filing cabinet. He's just like, let's tuck this
It's a
away.
garbage chute.
Yeah, I got that, but
Disguised
it
as a
was
filing.
just great. But
it
in
looks
the
like a
act,
filing cabinet to me too. That's
Yeah,
what I thought.
and he has to like push him in like he's not fitting. I'm all like, what? You just crumpled him up like a piece of paper. He doesn't fit now. What? What's
I'm
going
like,
on
the
here?
bag dehydrated him
Right?
apparently.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. And then
it's
he just sits down
Human
in the
burrito.
exactly exactly. And then he just sits down. I love when he sits down in the chair and he's just like he gets that look on his face like, this was made for me. And I was like, it literally was. And then he turns around and he's just sitting there waiting for somebody to come with his little scar on his forehead that his mommy gave him. I'm not his real mommy. And
not his
that's
fucking mother.
yeah. And then a new couple comes in and he stands up. And then that's the end of the movie. Now,
Hmm.
I want to ask you guys what you guys think was going on with Yonder. Because I only wrote down one theory, if you will. I just wrote down aliens. That's all I wrote down. That's all I
You
have.
didn't write what kind of alien?
Dude, I don't like I mean I wrote down frogs at one point in time, like but like
The
Liz
throat thing.
yeah, but like
Yeah.
lizard, lizard people like
I
Gavin
said
Newsom and
amphibian of some
everything.
sort because
Yeah.
of the.
Yeah, it's the lizard people like Gavin Newsom. That's the only thing I came up with. It was aliens. That's the only thing I wrote down in big letters, aliens. That's all I wrote down because I have no fucking clue what's going on. What about you, Matt? What do you think? Tell me your theories. I want to hear
Oh man, I have a bunch. Well, it's like if you're looking for symbolism, I found some symbolism in like the reciprocalness of nature, where it's like, oh, the cycle is starting again. There's a new Gemma and Tom walking in the door.
them.
But as far as who these things are, they're definitely aliens. I mean, come on. But the
Mm-hmm.
weird part for me was like trying to mix in Twilight Zone with the whole thing. This reminded me of a Stephen King short or like a Stephen King novel. I forget which one it was. But this couple drives through this town and they can't get out. But in this town are a bunch of like dead celebrities.
Mm.
It kind of reminds me of that. So it's got like a few twists of different elements to it. So I definitely think they're aliens. This whole entire area is a like terrarium built for humans to study them and to kind of mimic them and become them. So that way this cycle just keeps continuing.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. So, what did you like? Do you have any idea what the hell these people what were the aliens? What were your theories? Tell me about your theories.
What are these aliens?
Yeah, what's going on here?
They got
I need you
like
two have to
frog people. I
explain.
don't know.
You two have to explain to me because I have
Okay,
no idea. This
so
movie
I
is
have two for.
narcs.
So I think it's Invasion of the Body Snatchers, like the original Martin Sr. It writes reject. I think he was being replaced because he failed. This reminds me a lot. Do you remember when we were kids and every year it was a mini series? Because back in the day, before there was streaming, for all of you kids that are like, what is a mini series? It's like a limited series on streaming now, but it only was shown on TV once a year. It reminds me of the movie V or the mini series V,
Oh my God, I
where the
love
aliens
V.
came down and they,
And they
under
were
their real
lizard people.
form, were lizard people,
Hmm.
but they took
Oh.
on human form so that we were more comfortable. But they
Hmm.
were really replacing us. They were getting rid of us and everything. And I think that's what they were doing. Like the food had no flavor to humans, but I think it was flavorful to the little boy. It was poisoning Tom and Gemma. That's what killed them. It
Hmm.
wasn't that
Hmm.
they died of natural causes. They were being
Mm.
poisoned by the aliens. I personally I would like to see a version where the parents were actually doing a good job raising them, because would they actually get released because they did exactly what the box said, raise this child and you will be released. Well, everybody else was released in the way that suited them raising the child. They did a shitty job, so they died, you
I'm not
know.
I'm not gonna lie. I would love to see that movie because I want to see these people after they get out of Yonder and they're like, listen, there's a suburbia where you go and you're
They're
trapped there
diagnosed
and you have to
schizophrenic and
raise
put
a
in the
child that's
cabin.
not you have to raise a child that's not yours and like
They're aliens. I'm
yeah.
pretty sure they could do some Men in Black, like wipe
No,
your mind
no, I
bullshit.
want to see the crazy. That sounds way
Oh,
more interesting
ooh,
than
what
this.
if sure they raised the child perfectly. They did such a good job. Another box just shows up with another baby in it.
Right, that'd be.
Really? Oh,
That'd be
hell no.
It's
Oh,
like
hell no.
Groundhog Days, only with a new baby
They're like,
showing up.
oh no, you didn't. It's so good.
Part of me
So,
thinks
yeah,
it's kind of
I
like
think they're
lab
lizard
rats.
people. Yeah, I think they're lizard people and they're doing the whole invasion of the body snatchers. I do not think in all of those other houses that Gemma went into that those are other Martins. I think those are other people going in to replace rejected replacements because Martin clearly had that's what his label tag said when he was put into the filing cabinet garbage disposal. It said rejected. So I'm like, are they like
Mm.
on my notes I have it's like a liver transplant. His body rejected it, so he died. You know, I
Right
kind
on.
of am like, is that what was going on? They're slowly replacing people with themselves, their little lizard
But their
bodies.
lifespans are too short.
But we don't really know. Is
Yeah.
their lifespans really that short when they become adult? All we know is that their aging to adulthood is quick. I mean, there are
I,
animals in
I
the
I
world. I
bet
mean, look
they're.
at turtles. Their gestation period, their eggs isn't that long, and they live to
Yeah,
be 100
turtles.
fucking 50 years old.
Yeah,
I've been
yeah.
drinking.
That's
It's the
true.
best thing
No,
I can
it's
come up
fine.
with.
I just as soon as you said like,
Part of me thinks like their lifespan's like maybe 180 days. I bet, like
just
kind of
like,
like an insect
That's
or
what I
something.
mean.
That's what I'm thinking.
yeah, like
But I think their
I'm just
lifespan's
gonna,
longer. I
I
think
can't.
Martin's the original Martin. Shut up, you fucktard. God.
I'm so,
The original Martin, his lifespan was only 2 years.
fire
And
truck
I think
Albuquerque. We're just throwing out. Oh, look at turtles. I'm sorry.
I like turtles.
you bastard, I'm talking about the big giant tortoise sea turtles.
I can't. I'm sorry. I'm
Such an
sorry.
idiot.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This isn't National Geographic, Vetta. It's fucking Vivarium.
I'm full of
Yeah.
this
Do you,
and I read a lot, okay? But I do,
I'm
I
trying to
think
think. What
if
does
it's not
Vivarium
a
mean?
rejected alien, they live a lot longer. I think Martin, the original Martin, that's why it said rejected, because he couldn't sustain in a human form.
Right on. Okay, so
That's interesting.
a vivarium is the place of life. A vivarium, Latin for place of life, is an area usually enclosed for keeping and raising animals or plants for observation or research.
Yeah,
I'm
which
I'm
is
So
surprised I
that
was
why
gives
able to
me a
read
big
that.
place.
Drinking.
Good job, Matt. Good job.
Yeah, thank
I
you,
wouldn't
thank
have been
you.
able to.
Yeah.
Sober vivarium was a hard word for
dude,
me, let
I
alone
had to Google it to pronunciation. You know how you can
were
click a
you
thing and
like
it's like
on the set going of
Vivarium.
cut? Let's make that into a clip. The minute she says vivarium wrong, that needs to be a short.
I thought of it as me as
Vivarium.
yeah as right as both of us. I would do it for both of us, but I was like, no, I'm gonna learn this motherfucker. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, you guys both drinking Vivarium style drinks in the intro was just like, oh, you guys are fucking awesome. Like, you
Well,
guys went above and beyond.
we try.
We
Okay.
like the alcohol.
Yeah, exactly. I have an addiction, sir.
And
Okay,
I
so
I
embrace
need
it.
to try something new.
yeah, so all right. So I'm gonna before we wrap this sucker up and everything, I'm gonna I want to know, did you guys want to say anything else about this movie? And then I'm also gonna ask you finally, what did you think about this movie and would you recommend? So Matt, first off, did you have anything else you wanted to say about Vivarium before we wrap up?
Yeah, like I have like a bunch of notes here. So, I'll just like go real fast, real fast. I thought the intro kind of gave away the whole entire story with the cuckoo bird.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you pay attention to that, it's exactly the same kind of concept. I thought that the houses had cool minimalist visual, all the CG kind of stuff. It was trippy. Feels very Twilight Zone,
Mm-hmm.
obviously. The cigarette burn, I love that you caught that because I think it was shot in stop motion as well. And I was like thinking to myself, like, how do I do that? So
Oh, right on.
maybe I'll try and do something like that in a cartoon next. Um, Most of the stuff you got, like pretty much word for word what I was thinking. Most of it was I didn't like Tom's death speech. I thought he said glum too many times. I was just like, oh, this is terrible writing. But
Right
that's
on.
just me, being a nitpicky person. As far as like, would I suggest this movie to anybody? Like, if they want something weird that's very different and they like Twilight Zone, sure. But anyone else, not really. I just
Okay.
thought it'd be a good choice for, just to see what's up.
Right on. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Vetta, do you have anything you wanted to say about this movie before we wrap up?
No, I think I said more than enough for myself and
Mm,
you and everyone else, as I
mm,
normally do, because
right
I
on.
drink and word vomit comes
Yeah,
out. It's wet,
cowabunga.
right? So,
Hey, it's
I would
great.
recommend this, but I agree with Matt that it is for a particular audience. You have to be into that Twilight Zone, Invasion of the Body Snatcher. You have to be into movies that give you more questions than answer and kind of let you
Yeah, I like that.
form your own opinion or theory of what's happening. Because as you can see, I've only seen this twice, and I'm pretty sure I have a shit ton of theories, which I shared with you. And I'm pretty sure if I watched it again, I'd come up with a few more. Um, so I would agree there are
Definitely.
certain types of people that will like this, and there are certain types of people that will, be like, I hate you. I'm never taking suggestions from you again. Um, but I would definitely recommend it to people that I knew liked this type of movie for sure. It's definitely a thinker.
Right on.
What about
So
you?
I'm gonna say before we did this podcast, I was like, I fucking hate this movie, but now I'm all like, okay, maybe because the Twilight Zone thing. I love Twilight Zone, so I don't hate it. But would I recommend it? Absolutely not. I wrote one down way too many times. What is happening right now? What's going on? That's just too much for me. I can't handle that bullshit. If you can't explain your movie by the end, or at least I have very little questions, me and you aren't friends. So I
And
just
technically, this movie is set up for sequels.
who wants to see a sequel of this bullshit? Nobody wants to see a sequel. Like I
Hey,
don't think so. No,
you could
no.
introduce every couple under the sun.
No, I'm good. I have zero interest in seeing another movie of Vivarium. So I'll watch Vibranium. Okay. So that was a Marvel reference for all you nerds out there. All right, so I'm gonna wrap this sucker up, you guys. But before I do, I just want to ask, Matt, where can everybody find you at, dude?
I'm mostly on YouTube at Random Acts of Animation. So I'm there all the time. I do live streams almost every day of my next cartoon. So if you like
Mm,
South Park, come on in, check
right
it
on.
out. Might
Right
have a
on.
chuckle or two.
Yeah, and we will leave links into the description down below to all your social medias and everything, where everybody can find you at and all that good stuff. All right, you guys, thank you so much for listening and everything. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at BS Drunk Pod to stay updated. Now, if you listen to us on Apple Podcast or Spotify, please leave us a 5-star review, guys. It helps us out tremendously, and we really appreciate it. We'll also be posting this to our YouTube channel, like I said before, so you can check us out there. Make sure to subscribe and like and all that good stuff. And that's at BS Drunk Movie Reviews. Also, you guys, we do have a Patreon if you guys are interested, and we have plenty of different levels to suit whatever needs you have and everything. Over there, we review movie series. We've done Jurassic Park, the Scream series, all that good stuff. Go check it out if you're interested. The link for that will be in the description down below also. And most importantly, you guys, please don't forget to drink, recap, review, and repeat. Bye, you guys.